Hey guys, what's going on? Insidious Swede back again here for another YouTube video, and today we're gonna go over 5 manga that I left feeling disappointed with, whether it be when I finished it or when I stopped reading it. Now this is a video requested by you guys, again, in my manga haul. One of the big recommendations was do a video where you talk about manga that disappointed you. I don't necessarily know why that one was the one that a lot of you wanted to see, mainly because I know these kinds of videos can really inspire hatred, because, you know, you're talking negatively about manga that others may really enjoy. So first off, the point of this video is not to offend anybody. I know like 99% of you are totally cool with me doing videos like this, but there's always a couple out there who leave me really angry comments about why, you know, Series A is so great and why I'm so wrong, which you're always free to do. Tell me why I'm wrong. But again, this is my opinion. It's a video you guys wanted to see. So let's get into it. 5 manga that left me feeling disappointed. The first one is Terra for Mars. Now, actually, funny enough, with the bookmark spot right here, I actually tried to get back into this manga yesterday. It was sitting on my shelf forever. It's been at least a year or two since I've read a single page of Terra for Mars, and I kind of forgot the story. I decided to go back and try to reread this first volume, and honestly, after, what was this? Chapter 3, funny enough, The Empire Strikes Back. After chapter 3, or right before it, I guess, I'm like, you know what? I can't get into it. I can't do it. There's so many things about this manga that really could have been done better. I think the first one that really catches you is how little you are given any reason to care about the characters. And, you know, despite that, they're already killing them off and they're trying to make you care. If you don't know the general idea of Terra for Mars, you can basically get it within this one frame right here. Essentially, it's about mutated cockroaches on Mars and a bunch of bad humans, you know, people who didn't really have much of a life to speak of on planet Earth, were genetically modified to go to Mars to fight these humanoid cockroaches. I'm sure as we get later on the plot develops, but again, that's kind of where I stopped. Maybe I'll go back to it, who knows, but to be honest, it was very disappointing, and I don't think so. We'll have to see, but yeah, I really wish I could have enjoyed this one, but again, after trying to get into it twice, I just couldn't. So, yep, that's the first one that I left feeling very disappointed with. The second one is a little slice of life manga known as Nietzsche, My Ordinary Life. Now, this is a manga that I actually did a first impressions on way back, and I was pretty positive. Like, in general, I was like saying positive things about it. I'm saying like A, B, and C about it. But now that I've had more time to read more and go back over it, I think I was giving it more credit than it probably deserved. There's about, I think, like, what, 20 chapters in here? Yeah, with the 2 half chapters right there, 1.5 and 7.5. There's 20 chapters in this one volume. They're very short stories, and, you know, some of them are funny, some of them really work. The majority of them are just kind of boring, and, you know, nothing ever happens. Now, again, maybe I was expecting something different, and it's my fault for going into it with expectations. I don't know. But again, just from what I've read so far, with how much praise My Ordinary Life gets, I just, you know, really couldn't get into it. So it's unfortunate. And again, these manga I don't necessarily hate. They're just manga that I am disappointed with. It's a very key, distinct difference. And so Nietzsche is one of those manga where it's not that it's bad, it's just, you know, not that great. So I'll leave it at that. Definitely one I wish I enjoyed more, but as it is, I don't really. After that, this is the big one for sure. And funny enough, I even had this in my, what was it, top 10? Or was it top 7? My favorite all-in-one editions, the video that I made a week or two back, this was in that video, but yet I was disappointed with it. And that is Inio Asano's Solanin. Yeah, I mean, again, this is not a bad manga by any stretch of the imagination, but I've heard people call this manga a masterpiece. Now, I honestly don't know where that comes from, but it's definitely a good manga. It's just one that I'm, sitting here after finishing it, and I'm just saying to myself, why? I mean, yeah, the characters are interesting, the artwork is beyond gorgeous. I mean, Solanin and frankly, Inio Asano has some of the greatest artwork you're just ever going to see, period. But at the end of the day, it's a very, I don't want to say vanilla story. I mean, I know there's a lot of layers to it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, the story itself, there's not a ton there to really, blow me away. It's a very interesting story about a couple, specifically this one young girl here, and although I get the messages behind it for the most part, I just found myself feeling very underwhelmed by the conclusion. The way that it ended, I don't know how to phrase it. It's a good series, I like the ideas, the art is gorgeous, and frankly, I can see why people love it, but at the same time, I'm just not there. So yeah, Solanin, I'd say for sure read it. I mean, it's a one-volume manga. It's not that expensive. It's one of the higher quality volumes you're ever going to find. But as it is, I left this manga feeling very disappointed. Maybe it was due to my expectations for it. After hearing so many people praise it, maybe it was because I waited so damn long to read it. That was another problem. I just had this sitting on my shelf for ages before I hopped into it. Maybe that affected me somehow. I don't know. But yeah, definitely wanted more from Solanin. Alright, 2 more to go. The next one up is Saturn Apartments. This series might be, out of all the ones I'm showing off today, despite Solanin because I've already finished it, will be the most likely candidate that I go back to. Saturn Apartments, for all intents and purposes, is a good manga. It's just, again, one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it's really just dull and slow and almost agonizing to continue on with. Essentially, humanity has now resorted to living in a tube surrounding planet Earth. Again, if you want to get into the reasons why, I'd recommend reading it. But to keep a long story short, our main character here has grown up in the doldrums of society. He's in the very lower end, and he essentially finds himself experiencing different, classes of society after becoming a window washer, because again, if there's no person to clean the outside of the tube surrounding Earth, you live in complete darkness. And so a big important job, also very deadly, is to clean the glass for the upper and middle society tiers, and it's essentially our main character learning that. Also his father, our main character's father had the same job, and so you learn more about that as well. And again, overall, it's a very good series. It's very slow. There's not a lot there to keep me interested, and it's just one of those things where I have better things to read. And so, as of right now, I've put it to the side. I think I'm like either starting volume 3 or I'm within like halfway through. I can't remember, but it's only a 7-volume series. So I figure I'm almost halfway and I still haven't really gotten hooked yet. I just, don't know. I mean, I'm not quite halfway. I mean, I'm only into volume 3, but again, you get my point. I'm far enough in where I should be like, it's picking up, it's getting exciting, things are happening, but it may just not be one of those series, which is fine. Not every manga has to be, but again, just another title that I was hoping there was going to be more of, or it had a better vision for what it was going to be. All right, the final one that I'm going to talk about today is another series that I know a lot of you out there are big fans of. But again, I tried really hard to get into it, and I just couldn't. And that is Monde. Now, Monde is done by Mitsuhisa Kuji, who is an ex-assistant of Kentaro Miura, which means he helped work on Berserk, which is crazy. That's awesome. And you can definitely tell his art style reflects that very well. It's a very similar art style, a little bit, as you can see right here, not quite as detailed as you'll find somebody like Kentaro Miura do, not quite as dark either, but the theme and the tone of this manga is very similar to a Berserk-esque series. However, there's just a lot of things that I just don't understand about this manga. For one, the purpose behind it. A lot of these chapters feel very kind of like Nietzsche. There's like every chapter something else different happens, and for the most part, not all of them really matter for any reason. A lot of the chapters are just there to be incredibly disgusting and gory, like brutal things happening to people, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of, psychological torture. And although at times that kind of idea can be very interesting, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, and Wolfsmann's approach is kind of like needless and endless psychological torture, especially on females, which is just, it's overdone. Again, the purpose behind it is lost on me, and I think for that reason, I was just never really able to get into it. But again, if you like Berserk, most likely, you're going to at least enjoy this. I might be the one anomaly with that, because I love Berserk, but Wolfsmann just isn't there for me. It's also only 7 volumes, so it's a very short manga. I believe it's 7. It's right around there. I know it's single digits, so that's a positive right there. But again, for me, it wasn't doing it. So those are the 5 manga that I have to say I really left feeling a bit disappointed with. Again, none of them are horrible, just all of them felt a little bit mediocre. And that's where I'm left with these titles. I'm sure there are better examples of manga that I was feeling more disappointed with if I still had them in my collection, but at this point I have sold off a ton of manga, so these are the best 5 examples I could give still remaining in my collection. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Again, hopefully you got what you wanted out of this video. For whatever reason, you guys really wanted to see me do this, so now I have. Hopefully you enjoyed. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. But until next time, my name is Insidious Swede. Take care.